Now, one of the main stories today we should talk about is Scarlett Johansson is officially in talks to star in the Batman Part 2. Now, this was crazy for a lot of reasons. One, Zoe Kravitz, according to Jeff Snyder, is out, and she Catwoman won't be in the Batman Part 2, so I guess it's either going to be a love interest role. In my opinion, I think Scarlett Johansson would make an amazing Talia al Ghul. But apparently there's a report out there floating around that Matt Reeves said any character, the female villain in this, or the villain in this, won't be a villain we've seen on the screen before. And if she's to be a big bad in this, and that's what everybody's saying, she's going to be playing a villain. At the end of the day, she won't be Talia al Ghul, unfortunately. I felt like Scarlett would be a great Talia. But if this is just like its own thing and is not really building anything outside of 3 movies or even 4 maybe, you could do the Ra's al Ghul storyline at some point. But that is kind of mythical. And I guess Matt Reeves is trying to create a realistic Batman world with his take that he's doing here. So to have a man who hasn't died, now Christopher Nolan made it worked out, but like he already has said, whoever the villain is in Batman Part 2, we haven't seen before in the movie. So a lot of people think it's going to be Hush, which would be a cool thing to do. I like Hush. And they're thinking, well, they might, bend the gender and switch it up. Be like, okay. At the end of the day, Scarlett Johansson is awesome. And regardless of it, I think she's going to do an amazing job in the Batman Part 2. Also, a report that came out, shout out to Jeff Snyder, was that Emma Stone reportedly had passed on it before Scarlett Johansson was in talks. So they wanted to go get Emma Stone. Now, let's see. Oh, man, Jeff is like, you got to subscribe, Michael. Now, I watched the Hot Mic, so I know what he said. He said that Emma Stone, apparently, she was like, if I do it, I'm not going to do it for not my asking. Like, I get $20 million a movie. I'm not doing it for anything under that. And, why spend $20 million on one, that just for what? Emma Stone, she's worth it, in my opinion. Definitely worth it. Now, as far as the box office go, I don't know. But as far as, like, her acting prowess, yeah. Definitely. If being an amazing actress get you that much money in life, Emma Stone got it for sure. So at the end of the day, honestly, one of my favorite performances of the year in Begonia. She did an amazing job in that movie. She didn't do as good as a job as Jesse Plemons did in that movie, but they was just both acting their asses off, in my opinion. So regardless of it, definitely worth it. But at the end of the day, I understand why they passed on that, or why she passed on that, because they probably weren't going to give her what she asked. They were like, look, take this and you can get this on the back end. Like, nah, I'm good. So they went and talked to Scarlett. And Scarlett said, let's do it. So either way, at this point, people are speculating, trying to figure out who they're going to, they're thinking she might play a female character from the Mask of the Phantasm, or another female villain that was in the Batman animated series. And at the end of the day, I don't know. I really couldn't tell you. And as you can tell, I'm a huge Batman fan. I love Hush. But if it's gonna be a villain we've basically seen all of Batman's rogues guard. That's why I'm like, that can't be true. Like, who you gonna you have no choice but to get Hush, because that's the only real one we have. Like, who haven't we seen? Killer Croc, and we seen him in Suicide Squad. Wasn't a Batman villain, but come on. What we doing? What we truly doing? At the end of the day, so you can kind of narrow it down to the fact that it's probably going to be Hush. And could they gender bend that role, and instead of it being a man playing Hush, the reveal is it is a woman? Yeah, they could do that, but it's kind of obvious at this point, so it wouldn't work, because it'd be like, oh, we saw this coming. In the sense that if the movie leads up to that, we're like, oh yeah, that's why you go get Scarlett Johansson, because she's probably the villain. She's probably the one making things happen. So I don't know. I would think they would be like, I wouldn't think Scarlett Johansson would go from playing Black Widow to a gender bend role to Hush. Like, I would think she would want to play something with some meat, like Talia al Ghul. And then that's the thing. We didn't really get Talia al Ghul. Like, we got her in the movies, but We didn't know she was Talia until the end of Dark Knight Rises, when things were getting revealed. We just thought she was trying to Bruce Wayne. Like, that's all. So technically, we didn't get Talia. Technically, in a sense, not technically, but if you want to look at it subjectively, no. Anyways, next story. So, the biggest news today that dropped at around 11:30, or not even 11:30, probably I would say around 8 o'clock. It dropped that Netflix has won the bidding war to purchase Warner Brothers Discovery. Yes, if you don't know what that means, it means that Netflix now owns HBO, DC, and everything that comes with Warner Brothers. And at this point, the sale is not yet finalized, as the U.S. Department of Justice could also interfere due to antitrust concerns. Let's get into this report from The Wrap. Netflix wins the Warner Brothers Discovery bidding war, enters exclusive deal talks. Streaming giant hit the magic $30 share target and has an exclusive window to negotiate a final deal. Warner Brothers Discovery is moving forward with exclusive deal talks with Netflix, The Wrap has learned. Warner Brothers has selected Netflix after the streaming giant offered $30 a share for the studio and streaming access, according to two people familiar with deal talks. The deal also includes a $5 billion breakup fee to match the terms that Paramount added with its bid. While it's unclear what the makeup of the new bid looks like, the prior bid was a mix of mostly cash and stock. Netflix securing a win over rival suitors Paramount and Comcast represents a stunning turnaround from just 2 months ago, when co-CEO Greg Peters shaded big media mergers as not having an amazing track record, and Paramount buying Warner Brothers seemed like a foregone conclusion. Fast forward to today, and Netflix has won a furious M&A bake-off after 3 rounds of bids. What's so crazy about that is Netflix themselves said they had no interest, and then all of a sudden they had all the interest in the world. It was kind of crazy. It was like they went from one day saying, nah, we good on Warner Brothers, we don't want them, but maybe that was just a negotiation tactic. Maybe they wanted to see if Warner Brothers would get desperate and maybe just take whatever. Netflix probably threw them some offer under the table and was like, yeah, take that. And Warner Brothers was like, no, we ain't taking that. And it was just like, all right, bet. Yeah, we don't need Warner Brothers. And then, like, it's all been shady, to be honest. And then all of a sudden it was like they were saying Paramount gear up with the Saudis and get ready to come up with 60, maybe $70 billion. And Netflix with, oh, wait, actually, what we meant to say was we love Warner Brothers. It's kind of wild. These exclusive talks clear the road for Netflix to acquire the Warner Brothers Studios, HBO Max, and a treasure trove of IP assets like Harry Potter and the DC Universe. Netflix, which once aspired to be like HBO when first embarking on original content, is on a course to become its next owner. Obtaining such assets could dramatically reshape the entertainment landscape and give Netflix even more power over Hollywood. Oh, you betcha. Concerns the streamers will have to SCH. Well, man, big words. Let me see. Let's skip to this. The third round of bids came a day after Paramount had issued a letter to Warner Brothers. CEO David Zaslav claiming the bid process had been tainted by management conflict. Warner Brothers appears to have abandoned the semblance and reality of a fair transaction process, thereby abdicating its duties to stockholders and embarked on a myopic process with a predetermined outcome that favors a single bidder, Paramount said in its letter, which CNBC published. This followed an earlier letter this week from Paramount arguing that a deal would not get regulatory clearance. The second letter in particular signaled the Paramount CEO David Ellison likely sensed the tide shifting in another direction. The company had attempted to circumvent rival bidders by coming in early with an initial offer at $19 a share. Back in September, Warner Brothers had rejected 3 bids before starting its own strategic review. Paramount, which was intended on buying all of Warner Brothers, could take its own offer to Warner Brothers shareholders, although the amount of its third round bid is unclear. Even if it doesn't match Netflix's offer, Ellison could lean on a selling point that it could close a deal faster than expected. longer grind that the streaming giant would undergo. A representative of Paramount declined to comment. Paramount has already been through the process with the Trump administration before closing its merger with Skydance this summer. In September, it hired blah, 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 threshold. Okay. Yeah, so that's the Raps story. We go here. And apparently, the Director Guild so all the directors in the DGA have, or I guess the board, I think, ain't Christopher Nolan the president, and he be shitting on Netflix. I just seen a clip of Nolan. I just seen a clip of Nolan. Let me see if I can find that clip. Christopher Nolan, because he was talking about Oppenheimer. I didn't save it though. Christopher Nolan Oppenheimer, physical media. Like, he was talking about why he spent so much money on making sure Oppenheimer could come out on physical media. Let me see. Come on, Twitter. It was on Twitter. I saw it on Twitter. There you go, right here. Look, right here. And he is the president of the DGA right now. Think about that. Think about it. He is about to on.
Obviously, Oppenheimer's been quite a ride for all of us. And now is the time we get to release our home version of the film that we've been working very hard on for months. I'm known for my love of theatrical and putting all our effort into that, but the way the film goes out in home is equally important to me. Ever since really, The Dark Knight was one of the first films where we formatted the film specially for Blu-ray release because it was a new format at the time. Mm-hmm. And in the case of Oppenheimer, we put a lot of care and attention to the Blu-ray version, but also in particular the 4K UHD version. And in trying to translate the photography and the sound that we formatted for the IMAX format on our 70mm releases, putting that into the digital realm for a version that you can buy and own at home and put on your shelf, so no evil streaming service can come and steal it from you.
So no evil streaming service can come and steal the laughs.
So I think it's an awesome.
You hear the ooze. You hear the laughs and the ooze. So the president of the DGA is about to meet with Netflix. I guess today. This is urgent. About to meet with Netflix today to talk about them acquiring Warner Brothers. Wow. Movie business is messy. Oh, man. But I'm sure there's going to be more news to come out from this whole situation and everything that's happening with this Netflix thing and what's going on. But outside of that, right, here's my thoughts and opinions on the whole situation as far as Netflix goes. And I do love going to the movies, right? I do. I love it. It is experience. It's like church. It is a religious experience that only a cinephile truly understands. Only the rare ones know what I'm talking about right now. So I agree with Christopher Nolan when it comes down to like the theatrical experience, right? So I feel like if Netflix does do what they say, and they've already said that they're going to let Warner Brothers continue to run how it runs, only thing they'll probably do is it'll be Netflix and HBO Max. Like, it'll be all on one thing now. You click on, kind of like what Disney did in buying Hulu. Same thing with that. You click on, you want to get on your HBO Max, you got to click on Netflix. Welcome to the Netflix family. All you avoiding it, you've joined. And so at the end of the day, that's all it really is for. It's all it's about for them is getting as many subscribers as they possibly can, right? So if they choose to say, hey, y'all can still run how y'all run, keep doing what y'all doing, keep making movies for the theatrical experience. Because of Warner Brothers, we got movies like Sinners this year. We got movies like One Battle. Although I haven't seen it yet, I do plan on seeing it and reviewing it. We got movies like One Battle After Another. We got movies like Final Destination 6 or 5. That was way better than I expected it to be. Like, they cooked this year. Although I don't like Weapons as much as everybody else does. We got Weapons. They cooked this year, for sure. So at the end of the day, as long as Netflix lets them keep cooking, I don't think this is a problem. At this point, what this has done is, if anything, is kind of, now we can really like, at least we don't have to pay for that, this, and the third. You can pay for you can pay $20 for your Hulu and Disney Plus, and you can pay $20 for your Netflix and HBO Max. Now, Pluribus is on Apple TV, so I like Pluribus, so But either way, I guess $20 for your Apple TV and Apple Music subscription. $60 flat for a lot of entertainment and content. That is better than cable. That is way better than cable. Now, I ain't said nothing about Peacock and Paramount Plus. But at the end of the day, and it ain't, what's his name, about to leave Paramount? The guy that's making all the content for them. But they still got Trey Parker and Matt Stone. So, look, this is all a game. This is all a house of cards. That's all it is. And games are being played right now. And at the end of the day, look, you can bet on Netflix to renege too. You can. Because like they told you, it was like, oh, Warner Brothers, we good. We don't need them. And y'all fighting over that. Y'all fighting over Batman, Superman. Netflix. Y'all fighting over them. Yeah, we good. Nah, they lied. they whole time they was saying that, they was probably like, all right, how could we really get it? Like, what can we offer to buy them? They were just probably making Paramount running around with his head cut off, trying to figure out what was going on. Netflix was scheming the whole time. The whole time Netflix was scheming. Like, okay. But either way, at the end of the day, let me know what you think in the comments below about everything we talked about and my thoughts about Scarlett Johansson, about this Netflix news. Let me know. As always, it was Savvy Mike in this Savvy Reviews.